Hi everyone. I'm so excited for today's free training. So I'll be talking about pricing and how much to charge today. So let me know if you're here. Let me know in the comments who's watching live, or if you're watching the replay, put replay in the comments. Always love interacting with you live. So welcome to the Spark Show. In this episode, you'll be learning more about pricing your services as an influencer and what to take into account when you're pitching to brands. So if this is the first time we've connected, my name is Gwen Lane and I help influencers grow and monetize their personal brand through my course, Seal the Brand Deal. And I've helped thousands of people increase their income, influence, and impact through my programs, and I want to help you do the same. So today I want to talk about something that I get so many questions about, which is pricing. And I can't really tell you exactly how much to be charging individually because it's different for each person. Everyone has a different number of followers, everyone has a different engagement rate, everyone has different, sorts of channel arrangement, but I can tell you what are the things you need to consider when pricing your services. So let me check who's on the live. We have Tracy, Daisy, Siobhan, Gianna, hey BA, and Charmaine. Amazing. Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about your services. So many influencers are underpricing themselves by working for free or accepting free product because it actually takes a lot of time to create content. We don't just pose and take a picture with a product. That's not what we do. Creating content starts with a concept and producing the actual storyline. Now, you may not be aware that you're actually producing, but if you think about movies or TV shows, this is what happens first, right? They don't just start shooting the show. There's usually a writer room, a script, a producer, even a team of all these people who first need to plan on what is happening. Now, I have a background in entertainment marketing, so I know exactly what happens when a show or movie is greenlit. It goes to production even before the shoot occurs. There's a whole kickoff, lots of planning. It's usually many, many months or years, and usually the writer has pitched the show, has finished a script, or has already created one, or it's in progress. So as influencers, we do this on a micro level. We still need to come up with the idea, right? It's not just stand here and take a picture. And I've worked with some of the biggest brands out there like Disney, Activia, most recently Kroger, and there is production involved when I have to come up with the story and concepts first, even before I shoot or even before I sign the agreement to do the sponsorship. So they want the ideas first sometimes, and that takes time and creative energy. And sometimes the brands already have campaigns or ideas in mind. It really depends on the situation. You won't really know until the situation happens. I get so many questions about what's going to happen, and I'm like, I don't know because it hasn't happened yet. And you kind of just have to be adaptable and flexible and be willing to work with a brand in real time. Now, the brands usually have someone on their marketing doing this, or they have hire agencies for thousands and thousands of dollars to create these ideas. If you think of ad agencies, or if you've ever watched Mad Men, they have to come up with concepts and ideas that take time, money, and energy. Some of these ideas are genius ideas. So that's the first step. That's just the first step, which is creating content, right? And producing the content. Then you actually have to plan the shoot. Where are you shooting? Who's shooting? Are you hiring a photographer? Are you asking someone to help you? What are you wearing during the shoot? What's your hair and makeup going to be like? That's all part of it. Then there's the actual shoot, right? And how long it's going to take to get the right shot. If you think about models and how much you would pay a model and a photographer and then someone to do the set and all of that stuff, right? So usually when I work with brands, I give them a couple options. And if you've done a shoot before, you'll know that sometimes it takes more than one shot. It takes hundreds of shots to get the right one. So when I work with a professional photographer, it usually takes a couple hours. And also think of the location. Are you shooting something for free? You're usually scouting for locations. So many brands and influencers do this as part of the work, is like, where's the location? What are the types of locations? Is it free? Do you have to rent a space? A lot of brands and influencers rent the space and pay a location fee. So you need to factor all of this into your pricing. And after the content is shot, then you have to think about the selection process, right? Which takes time to go through the photos to choose which ones you're going to create, then the editing of the photos. And if you're doing videos, this can even take more time because you have to go through each second of the video and choose what you're keeping and what you're not. Video editing usually takes hours and hours of work if you're adding text, graphics, and all sorts of stuff. So who is starting to reconsider what goes into content creation? Let me know in the comments if you're starting to have an aha moment of all the things that goes into content creation, right? And so after the content is created, there's the posting process, which includes the caption, the description, the actual upload, making sure everything is tagged and has the right keywords, plus the approval process from the brand. So aside from that content creation part, you're also building your audience. You're engaging with your followers on a daily basis, or at least you're supposed to be. You're responding to comments, putting out your organic content, and building trust and connection with them. So this is all part of content creation. So when people are wondering why they should be charging for their services, or why influencers charge that kind of money, or why, the mega influencers are charging hundreds of thousands of dollars for a post, because there's lots of work that goes into it, especially if you have a team around you, right? If you have a hair and makeup stylist, or if you go get your hair done before a shoot, or if you work with a professional photographer. Diana said, starting to realize all the work and time it takes to create content. So I really, really want you guys to start thinking about this, because when you start saying you're scared to charge, or the brand only wants to give you free product or discount code, this is all the work that goes into it. This is not just I'm getting free stuff and I'm going to take a photo with it. No, that's not content creation, right? Or at least that's not good content creation. There are some people who just do that, take a photo and call it a day, but that's not what most brands are looking for when they're working with influencers. So the reason why I'm talking about all of this is because so many people and influencers like you are scared to charge for all this work. And so when influencers tell me they're scared to charge or don't want to charge, I kind of want to list out and give them a list of things that they have to do when this happens. At the end of the day, you're several hours, several days, even several weeks. Sometimes there's reshoots and edits, and the brand changed their mind, and I have to come up with some new thing and I have to reshoot again. And it takes a lot of time, especially if you're doing this on the side in addition to your 9-to-5 job. You're putting your nights and weekends, and think of the time that you could be spending that time with your family, right? This is work. This is not just like, oh, it's super fun. This is actual work. It is fun work, but it's still work, right? And so at the end of the day, it comes up to at least several hours, if not several days of work, and you're doing it for free or for very little money. So I want you to consider that when working with brands, because they do have a budget. Everyone has a marketing budget, and they would pay a professional photographer or a model or a hair and makeup stylist for their services. So they should be paying influencers for their services as well. And so I get it. In the beginning, you may just be starting out and building your influencer portfolio, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and gaining experience and building relationship. That's fine. But there has to come a point where you monetize your business, because if you're not making money, it's not a business. If you're just getting free stuff, it's not a business. That's just a hobby, right? That's a very time-consuming hobby that you're not getting paid for, that you're spending your weekends shooting and creating content when you're not making money off of it, right? It all comes down to knowing the value that you provide. So most influencers realize that when they do charge, the brands actually say yes. But if you don't ask, you will just keep getting discount codes, free stuffs, or rates that you're not happy with, right? So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about when thinking about what to charge as an influencer. So let me know if that's starting to make sense for you. So If you're afraid that they're just going to go with someone else, then that's a scarcity mindset. I like to do an abundance mindset where I say the right brand who wants to work with me is going to pay what I charge, right? So for example, when you go into a designer store, like a Chanel store, they have an abundance mindset because the people who are going to pay $5,000 for a purse are going to come in, and the people who won't are not. Or they're just going to look at the nice, pretty purses, right? And so you have to also be confident in the fact that if the right brand who wants to work with you, are going to do that. So Ray has a great point here. She said, brands are sometimes negotiable with what their budget is and what you charge. Some say they don't have a budget. And you can simply say, please reach out when you do have a budget. It's exactly right, Ray. Thanks for sharing that. The right brands who really want to work with you will make it work. I've had brands come to me with a very low offer, and I told them my rate, which was, I think, 10 times that. And they said they didn't have the budget at the time. And then a week later, they came back because they realized that they really want to work with me and they got the budget from somewhere else. So if they really want to work with you, it's just like relationships, right? And I always go back to dating analogies, right? If it's going to work and they want to make it work, it will, right? And if it's not meant to work, it's not meant to work. So if you do have a scarcity mindset, which I'll talk about in a little bit, you really have to start shifting that into an abundance mindset and knowing that there are plenty more brands to work with. And if they choose an influencer that is not you, that's okay. It's just it's not the right fit at the right time. Just because, you didn't get chosen doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means it's not the right fit at the right time. Okay. So there are benchmark rates for Instagram that some brands still adhere to. There's no number of followers that you have to start charging. That's a decision that you have to make on your own. That's like, when am I ready to buy a car? I don't know. No one knows that, right? And so it really depends on you. It depends on when you're confident in charging. It depends on the brand if it's the right time. It kind of is something that kind of just happens naturally, and nobody can say, oh, when you have X amount of money or X amount of followers, that's when the brand will have money. No, that's not how it works. The brand, it has to be a good fit for the brand. It has to be a good fit for you. And that's really it. Like, for you guys asking, oh, when, that's just like saying, like, when am I going to do this? Or I don't know, when is it going to snow? I always tell ask my husband about the weather. Now that we're in the Midwest, I'm like, is it going to rain? I don't know. If it rains, yes. If it doesn't, no, right? Because the sky and the environment has to be in the right situation for there to be a storm. So you guys are asking the wrong questions, right? The question is, what can I do to be ready for me to charge to brands? Right, to charge brands. What value can I offer to brands when they reach out to me so then they can feel good about paying me for my services? So I want you guys to start shifting these questions and start asking questions. And if the brand is not ready, and then it's not the right time. If the brand doesn't have a budget, it's not the right time. So you can either accept what they're giving you or wait for another brand. And that's part of being a CEO and part of being a boss, is making those decisions. I can't make those decisions for you and your business. You have to stand up and realize that you are the boss and you get to make those decisions. Amazing. Dushan is right. Fit and right timing equals pay. Exactly. There is no science to it. It's just if it's the right time. Now, there is a strategy where you can start getting paid brand deals more and more. And that's what I teach inside my Seal the Brand Deal course. And I have students with less than 10,000 followers making brand deals for thousands of dollars. And so the benchmark rates for Instagram that some brands are still sticking to, some are not, it's $100 per post for someone who has 10,000 followers. But that doesn't take into account engagement rate, target audience. If you have a very niche, engaged, specialized audience, you can definitely charge more. If it includes extras like stories, lives, IGTV, and other channels. So that's the benchmark. But I know some students of mine who have taken my course and have been, charging $1,500 and they have 5,000 followers. So it really depends on the type of content you create. So I would work on creating really good content and so that you have something to offer to brands of value. Okay. And so it's not just about presenting your rates, right? There's just one part of it. The second thing that I wanted to talk about when pricing your services is making sure you have your influencer portfolio ready. So this is where a lot of influencers get stuck because they only have a media kit, but no rate card and case studies, which I teach are the 3 essential elements to an influencer portfolio. So first of all, it's a media kit, which is a kind of like a resume that shows your information, your channels, audience demographics, who you are as a brand, and brands that you've worked with. It's a great snapshot to send to brands so they know more about you. So this is what a lot of influencers have, but it's only 1/3 of what I call as an influencer portfolio. The second part is a rate card. Now, this is a pricing sheet with your services, with what you charge. And if you don't have a rate card, it's pretty much like saying you work for free. So you should have one of these if you're trying to monetize your influencer business. So let me know in the comments if you have a rate card or if you still need to create a rate card. And so for me, I like to simplify my rate card. I like to have only 3 packages because if you have too many options on your rate card, it's kind of like the menu. I call it the Cheesecake Factory menu where you get stuck because there's too many options, right? If there's only 3 things on the menu, it's really easy to choose which package the brand is going to choose. So I like to do 3 packages on my rate card. And then lastly, the case studies. This is something a lot of influencers don't have. So if you do have it, the brands who are considering multiple influencers, you are going to stand out from those influencers. So this is a deck or presentation that goes deeper into previous collaborations or sponsorships you've done before including the content. It includes the content, screenshots, analytics, feedback, and it really shows the work that you've done on a deeper level. So if you think of it like an artist or an interior designer or an architect, they have a portfolio of their work to show you before you hire them. And it's the same idea and makes it easier for the brand to say yes. And I have tutorials inside the Seal the Brand Deal course to help you create your entire influencer portfolio, as well as examples from other successful influencers so you can see what theirs look like and which program to use online so you can start going from free stuff to paid sponsorship. Brianna says your course helped me create a rate card, media kit, and case studies. Amazing. Shout out to my amazing students. If you're here, please comment and let people know that they need the Seal the Brand Deal course so they know. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about when talking about pricing is your money mindset. And this is the most important thing, regardless of how many followers you have, regardless of your influencer portfolio. This is why we have mindset calls in my program every single week, because money mindset is the thing that keeps, people away from their goals, because usually we get in the way of our own goals, right? This is actually the thing that I believe most successful people work on a daily basis, because it's usually what gets in the way of you making the money you want to make. If you're not making the money you want to make, that's a sign that your money mindset needs work. Even if you think your money mindset is good, if you want to make $1 million and you're not making $1 million, it means that you should be working on your money mindset every single day. And even if you are making $1 million, if you want to keep going, then you can keep working on that. So for me, I work on money mindset every single day. So this is, if you believe that you shouldn't get paid for your work, it's true. Right? If you believe that you should get paid, you will, and you do. So it's really working on your own beliefs. So Sarah said, is it Sarah or Sierra? Let me know if I'm saying it right. Those mindset calls are heaven sent. Thank you so much, Gwen. I'm so glad that you're going to them. We have some amazing coaches that help our students with their money mindset, because really it's the thing that keeps them from achieving their goals, growing their following, and getting paid brand deals. Is because if you don't believe that you should get paid for your work, you won't get paid for your work. And it's really about working on those beliefs. So a lot of my students that ask, how do you do that? How do I work on my money mindset and start creating new beliefs about money? So first of all, you have to identify what are your money beliefs and the stories that you've been living with this whole time. So let me know in the comments what are some of your money beliefs that have been holding you back. So some of the most common ones are money is evil, money doesn't grow on trees, money is hard to make, wanting more money is greedy. So let me know in the comments right now, what are some of those things that you've been believing in the last, 20, 30 years of your life. And these are a lot of beliefs that unfortunately we picked up through childhood and through society, and they're not true, right? And if you believe it, they're true. But if you no longer want to believe it, then put them in the comments right now. And write it down so you're aware. That's the first step, is to be aware of the money beliefs that you have. So Bree said, wanting more money is greedy. Yep, that's been one of my beliefs that I grew up with, that if you want more, you're greedy and you should just be grateful for what you have. So yes, I am grateful for what I have, but I can also want more money, because more money equals more impact, right? So, really take the moment to write it down. Okay. Amazing. I'm reading the comments right now. Okay. So once you know what those beliefs are, you need to create new beliefs and write them down. These are called affirmations, and it really takes time to create these new beliefs. You're not just going to write them down for a day and then, wow, you're a whole new person, you'll make $1 million. That's not how it works. You have to really repeat them and practice the repetition. I write them down every day. And so then your brain starts to adapt and believe these as your new truth. So here are some of mine. Money is awesome. Money flows to me easily. More money equals more impact. Making money is easy. I can make as much money as I want to. Money equals freedom, and you can write whatever feels good to you. So go ahead and write down or add in the comments some of your new money beliefs that you want. You can take some of mine. Money is awesome. With more money, I'm able to make a difference. More money equals more impact. I love that one. I love money and money loves me. Jay added that one. I love that. So really, you have to do this work, right? It doesn't just happen on its own. So if you can take some time today to write down all your old money beliefs and all the new money beliefs and start shifting that, that's really going to help. Bree says more money is more empowered. Totally true. Love that. Make more money makes more impact, Ray said. And these are some great beliefs. And again, repetition, say it every day, every morning, and start to shift those beliefs about money, that money is hard to come by, I love it. So money makes me able to support more animals in the shelter. Exactly. It's hard to make an impact when you are not making money, right? It's hard to be broke and make an impact. So I love all of that. So make it a practice, because remember, you're undoing decades of money beliefs that you picked up from all these years, and it's no one's fault. I don't want you to blame anyone. It's just how the world works. And now that you're aware of it, and now that you want to create this business and create more impact, you really have to work on that part of yourself so then you can start shifting into this new reality. And I want you to start being aware of your thoughts about money. So when you have a situation with money, when you look at your bank account, I want you to start feeling what is those thoughts and start writing down so that you can decide what your new money stories are going to be. So we talked about a couple things today. We talked about the things to consider when pricing your services as an influencer. I went through the whole content creation list of things to do because it's a lot. And now that you know that, I want you to stop undercharging yourself and actually go bigger, right? I always go times 3, times 4. Sometimes the brand says yes. And I'm like, okay, great. If I had asked for double or just the flat rate, they would have said yes too, and I would have missed out on that. And sometimes the brand negotiates and it goes a little lower, and that's up to you. You get to decide what you're going to accept. And so if you want to learn more about how to go from free stuff to paid sponsorships, definitely watch my free masterclass where I go through the steps in my own process, and I start sharing the steps that I've taken to go from free stuff to paid sponsorships. And my free masterclass will be in the link in this podcast, in the show notes, and I'll also put the link in this video. Make sure you watch it because that gives you kind of the background and kind of the basis and foundation. And as you know, if you look at the comments, a lot of my students are finding it helpful. They're starting to go to from brand deal to get paid brand deals instead of just free stuff because it does take a lot of work. So that's it for today's episode of The Spark Show, and I will see you in the next one. Sarah, how and when do we know? So Sarah, this is the same question that I answered earlier. Like you don't know. You're never going to know when you're ready. You're never going to know when it's the right time. The best thing to do is put in what you can, pitch to a brand. If a brand reaches out, send them your kit and see what happens. Your kit and your portfolio evolves over time. As you do more collaborations, as you grow your following, you're going to keep editing it. It's not just something you do once and you're done. I edit my portfolio, I think, once a month because I work with new brands. I have new followers. I add more insights. I add my demographics. So there's never, ever, ever a right time. Just like anything, right? There's no right time to move. There's no right time to have kids. There's no right time to get married. Here I am going with life lessons, guys. Ray's right. Just make that leap and go for it with a brand. You will never know. Sometimes they'll just take a chance on you. I've had so many brands that took a chance of me, like when I was just starting out, because they were just starting out. And I was willing to work with a brand and start, low. So that was fine. And so it really depends. It's timing. It's communication. You don't know who's on the other side. The brand is just a person. If the person likes you and have been following you personally for a long time, they're going to say yes and they're going to make it work. So it's a deal, right? Like the whole point of the deal is communication between both parties and finding what works for that person. So I want you to stop having these assumptions in your head that, oh, it's not good enough, or I don't have enough followers, or other blah, 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 blah. Like those are stories, right? Write them all down and shift them into new things. Like I make amazing content. I have a small engaged audience that would love to hear about the brands that I promote. I only promote brands that I love and will help my audience, right? And I will work with brands that see my value and are willing to pay me for my work. So just make sure that you catch yourself, because you're your own boss, remember? You catch yourself with these thoughts and you need to shift them, right? This is the mental work that a lot of influencers had to do, right? Or entrepreneurs. Like think about all these business owners. If they thought, oh, my product's not good enough, I should never launched it, then we would never have, an iPhone. We would never have had, all the things we love, right? If they didn't just focus on the value that their product or service is providing. And I want you to do the same. And I want you to start, charging your worth, because if you don't, you feel resentment. And I've had this, and I'm sure you guys have felt this before, where you say yes, and then it took so much work and it's so much money, and you could have had a weekend off, and instead you're doing work and getting underpaid. So don't do that, because that just leads to negativity, and you're not going to be able to make an impact on someone if you're feeling that way. So thank you guys for joining me today. Definitely let me know if you caught the replay. If you are a student of mine, please let everyone know how awesome Steal the Brand Deal is. And if you haven't watched the free masterclass, please do that. And we hope to see you getting paid deals soon. Bye, guys.